Greetings everybody, Ben here from The Virtual Economist and welcome to part 7 in my Keys to Riches series. At the end of the last episode, we had approximately 35 pure keys, as well as having a Cloud9 Magnificent Mongolian and a Purple Energy Gym Rat. If you take a step back to really look at what we have so far, we have around 74 keys and items, and that's pretty awesome, especially when you consider that we started with 10. Without further ado, let's jump right on into the first trade of the episode. Okay, so here I'm basically just buying an Orbiting Planets Tripper's Tricorn for the Demo Man. On backpack.tf, it has a value of 13 keys, but pretty much all the other sellers of the hat were selling it for 12 keys, so I pretty much had to value it at 12 keys just because there was really no way I could sell it for 13 with all the other sellers at 12. You have to keep in mind that while backpack.tf did say 13, I really had to value it at 12 because there's no way I could sell it for more. Anyway, I'm buying it here as a quick sell for 8 keys plus my 5 ref Hoovy cosmetic, which as you remember I got a couple episodes back, and obviously that's a very good deal on a low tier like this. Getting a 4 key discount is always really awesome, so this is definitely a trade I should definitely do. Alright, so the next trade I got was another quick sell, and it is another very good one. Right now I'm buying a circling TF logo Pyro's beanie for the Pyro, of course. I actually got this trade kinda out of nowhere. I had this guy add me because I was in the history of the item, and I think I had like buying quick sells in my name, so it was like, okay, I could sell this to him. So, like I've said, I've actually owned this hat before, and it was actually deceptively hard to sell. Now, why is this? Well, it is a first gen, so you might think, okay, that's pretty awesome, because being a first gen is nice, but then you realize that logo is actually one of the harder to sell first gens. Also, the hat is duped, so it makes it very undesirable for certain people. Anyway, I figured I needed a pretty good discount just because I remembered how hard it was to sell in the first place. I think he initially offered like 13, and I was like, whoa, that's a good deal, because off the bat it was a 6 key discount. I asked if he could do 1 key less and do 12, and he said he could do that, so it was a really quick trade, and a really good one too. Like I was saying, it's not the easiest to sell, so I wouldn't be surprised if I have to re-quick sell it. But since I got it for such a good price, I could probably just re-quick sell it for 14 keys and make profit. Anyway, this is what we have right now. As you can tell, the 4 unusuals as well as 15 keys pure. Hopefully in the next couple of trades, we'll be able to sell some of our unusuals and maybe even buy another quick sell. Anyway, on to the next trade. Okay, so the next trade I got was probably the riskiest trade that I've made thus far. I feel like most of the trades I've made so far in the series have been pretty safe in that I was pretty sure I'd make profit. But here, I was really on the fence about whether this was a good trade or not. I am picking up a Burning Flames Handyman's Handle for the Pyro. As you can imagine, it's Burning Flames, so it's a pretty awesome hat. Now, a lot of you guys might think that, okay, it's a handyman's handle, so it's bad. That's a downside, because, you know, it's a handyman's handle, that's a horrible hat. But in reality, it's a huge upside. Because it's a handyman's handle, it's going to be really inexpensive. In fact, the unusual is only 36 keys on backpack.tf. That is absurdly cheap for a Burning Flames hat, and I can imagine that hat would be super desirable. Keep in mind that the backpack.tf price is 36 keys. However, all the other sellers were selling it for around 40 to 45 keys, and I knew that 36 was way too low, like I could easily get an offer that is more than that. Because the lowest seller was 40 keys, pretty much there's no way anybody could get that hat for cheaper than 40 keys, so I figured it'd be pretty safe to value it around 40 keys. To get this Burning Flames hat, I'm trading my Pyro's beanie as well as my Tricorn that I picked up in the last 2 trades. When you add those prices together, really I'm only offering around 32 keys, so he wanted me to add more, of course. I offered 8 keys, and I thought that was really generous, because that would be around 40 keys, and the hat is only 36 on backpack.tf. However, he really wanted me to add a little bit more. It was really hard for me because I thought 8 keys was even a really good deal for him. Like, downgrading his hat into 2 low tiers in pure is really good. So I was really hesitant because I really wanted the hat, but I really didn't want to add any more. Even after negotiating for a little bit, there was no way I could get him to accept my offer of the 8 keys plus the 2 unusuals. He really wanted me to add 2 more keys to that offer, so I would have 10 keys total. Of course, I really didn't want to do this, but eventually I caved in and accepted the trade, with me adding 10 keys to the 2 hats. If you go off backpack.tf price, it would look like I'm overpaying around 5 to 6 keys here, which, you know, isn't the best, especially when you consider I was trading away 2 unusuals that were not actually that hard to sell, as well as pure, which is a very good offer for him. But the reason I did this really has to do with the fact of how good this unusual really is. It's important to point out here that it was duped, but I really looked past that when I was evaluating the hat. Burning Flames is one of the best effects in the game. I think everyone can agree with that. And getting Burning Flames for 40 keys, anyone would do that. That is such a good deal. That is so good. Like, That is the kind of unusual that will just fly off the shelves just because of how amazing it is at the price that it is. If it was like 80 keys, no, it wouldn't be good, but at 40 keys, it is absurd. So I figure I could get a pure offer as well as a potential overpay offer, which I would expect to be at least 45 keys. Anyway, I feel like this is a really good trade, even though it doesn't look like it. Like I said, it is my riskiest trade, so we'll see how it works out. Anyway, here's a quick update on what I have. Now I have the burning handle instead of the other 2 hats, and now I only have 5 keys. Okay, on to the next trade. Alright, here, so this is obviously a pretty straightforward trade here. I am just selling my Cloud9 Mongolian for 11 keys pure. It is what I listed it on Outpost for, and it's been around a week since I first listed it, around like 4 or 5 days since the last trade. And of course I got my pure buyout, which I was really surprised because I thought personally the hat looked really ugly. If you remember from last episode, we bought it for around 8 keys, and now I'm just selling it for 11, so that's really just some easy 3 key profit right there. Okay, so this next trade was pretty interesting here. I'm actually buying an unusual from the scrap.tf unusual bot. Here it is a Syrian Plasma Larkin Robin for the sniper, and they had it listed for around 12 keys. Backpack.tf has the unusual price at around 16 keys, so that was just a 4 key discount right there. Syrian Plasma is a decent first gen effect. It's actually surprisingly hard to sell, but this is a very low tier hat, so I expect it to be relatively easy. It is worth pointing out that the hat is duped, but you know, I don't expect that to change that much because usually dupes on low tiers don't really matter that much. It is a 25% off discount, which is a little bit on the low end, but for a first gen that is rather inexpensive, I figure if I don't buy it from the bot, someone else will, so I might as well just buy it now and see if I can get some good offers on it. Alright, so here's what I have now. I have the Larkin Robin, the handle, and the gym rat with only 4 keys left over. I know that there's some other cosmetics there that I haven't really addressed. I'm gonna probably try to sell them, but I'm not really in any hurry because I can just use them as sweets if I need to. So it appears here that I've gotten an offer of 28 pure keys on my Purple Energy Gym Rat. While this is a really nice unusual for the price, I didn't really expect it to sell for full price in pure. I expected if I got a pure offer it to be maybe like 24 keys or something. Obviously still profit for me, but just not as good. I was also expecting maybe some decent unusual offers, but I didn't even get any of them. It's actually been like a week, like with the Mongolian since I first listed it, and I hadn't really gotten any offers until out of the blue I got this. I really think the reason I was able to get an offer like this was because I was really patient with this unusual. I just had it listed and I was like, I'll wait for a decent offer, and then of course a week later I got this offer, which of course was really good, and I'm gonna accept it now. That really is the joy of having so many unusuals at once, because you can just sit on unusuals and while you're making other trades, just wait and hold back for a really good offer. Anyway, after completing this trade, I actually made like around 10 keys pure profit on this unusual trade. It was basically because, remember, I traded the Gym Rat for the Chamo Shanter, which I picked up for 18 keys. Then basically I sold this for 28, and boom, there's 10 keys profit there, and that's not even counting the sweets I got on top of that 1-for-1 trade. Obviously, that was a really awesome trade sequence. Anyway, moving right along to the next trade. Alright, so for this trade, I'm actually selling my Syrian Plasma Larkin Robin. I had this guy add me. I think he saw my advertisement on Outpost or Backpack.tf, and he was interested in my unusual. He offered his bubbling virtual reality headset for the engineer. That hat is pretty bad, I would say. It's worth around 15 keys on Backpack.tf, and there's a lot of current sellers. I would say that it's not very good, just because, you know, it's 15 keys. I would expect you to be able to get a better engineer hat for 15 keys. Bubbling really isn't that popular, and engineer, of course, is not very popular a class either. I kind of expect I'll have to re-quick sell it, maybe for around like 11 keys or something, but the reason why I did this trade was because a 1-for-1 would have been bad for me. I remember I'd be losing 1 key, but after some negotiation, I was able to get him to add around 4 keys of sweets, which obviously made that an overpay offer of around 3 keys. I really couldn't deny that, so I just decided to accept the trade. The sweets I got out of the trade were a pair of buds, an Arkham cowl, and a high 5 taunt. All these items should be pretty easy to sell for Backpack.tf price and pure, so I really shouldn't have any trouble selling them. But, you know, I might also just hold on to them to use as sweets for other trades. I haven't really decided. Alright, so the next trade here is me quickselling my virtual reality headset for 12 keys. I was on Firepowered and I saw this guy who was buying unusuals. Of course, he was buying quicksell unusuals, he just couldn't say that in the chat, and when I traded him, he really had a reasonable offer on my hat, of course, an offer of 12 keys. He wanted me to add a little bit of sweets because it's only really a 3 key discount, and he could recognize that was probably more than most people would pay. So I said, okay, I'll add my high 5 taunt, and then I was able to get him to add 2 ref to finish off the trade. So basically, it was me trading my unusual and the taunt for 12 keys and 2 ref. Although I might be quick selling the unusual, this is definitely still a trade that is good for me. Remember, I bought the Searing Plasma Larkin Robin for 12 keys, and then I traded it for this hat plus sweets. Because I sold the virtual reality headset for 12 keys, all the profit that I made was the sweets that were added to the previous trade. So it means, basically I made around a Bud and an Arkham Cowl profit, which is close to 4 keys. That is obviously not bad at all, and it really shows how easy it is to make profit off low tiers if you buy desirable ones. Alright, on to the next trade. The next trade I got is going to be the last trade of the episode, but it is a very good one. I'm selling my Burning Flames Handyman's Handle for, wait for it, 40 keys pure. That is obviously a very awesome trade for me to be doing, especially when it's only 36 keys on backpack.tf. Anyway, I listed it on Outpost and backpack.tf for 40 keys, saying pure or really good overpay. I actually got some offers I was really considering taking, like I got an offer of 37 keys pure, like immediately, and I just had that up and I was like, do I really want to take it or can I get more? Ultimately, the reason I didn't take the trade was kind of I forgot about it and the other guy traded his keys for somebody else's. So I was really mad because I was like, crap, did I just miss my one good opportunity to sell this for a really good pure price? I also got a couple decent unusual offers, one of a mass flies ground control for the soldier. I think that's around like 45 keys, but it is mass fly, so I expected that to be near impossible to sell. And then I also got a couple offers of around like 35, 36 in meh unusuals, and I was like, no, I don't want that. Because like I said, I thought I could get a good pure offer or a really good overpay offer. And of course, after denying those trades and waiting a whole week, I was able to get an offer of 40 keys pure on this hat, which I'm really happy with. The risk definitely paid off, and in the end, I actually made a lot of profit. If you haven't noticed so far, one way I really liked looking at trades to see if they were profitable is by looking at the amount of keys you put in versus the amount of keys you got out. And it doesn't matter what happened in between, maybe you traded for 1,000 unusuals, but in the end, you compare how many keys you put in and how many keys you got out. And in this trade, I put in 8 keys for the tricorn, 12 keys for the beanie, and then 10 keys. So if you add that together, that is 30 keys. And then in the end, I got 40 keys pure, meaning that I made 10 keys pure here. Obviously, this was an episode of massive profit, and I am really happy with myself here. Alrighty then, and it looks like the items are pouring in right here. 40 new items acquired. That is pretty awesome. That is a lot of keys if you think about it. At this point, I have no unusuals. I've sold all of them for pure, so I just have a crap ton of pure keys. Around 84 keys to be exact. Anyway, I'm gonna end the episode here, and this feels like a really good spot to end it, especially when I have everything in pure here. Of course, as you can tell now, I do need to sort my backpack a little bit. All the keys are just randomly overflowing, but as you can tell, I do now have 2 pages of items, which is a really awesome achievement, being able to say, now I have 2 pages of stuff. Before I go, I wanted to mention that, as you can tell, we are getting pretty far into the series. At this point, I definitely need to be figuring out, like, what is my end goal for the series? Like, it could be an unusual set, it could be a bunch of Australians or something like that. Honestly, I just want to know what you guys think should be a good end goal for the series. So make sure to leave your comments in the comment section below so I can take a quick look at them and just see what you guys are thinking. Quite honestly, I really have no idea. I'm really wide open here. I don't really have any biases towards what I want to do, so getting any feedback here on what I should end with would be really awesome for me. Anyway guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video so I know to make the next one as soon as I can. Until then guys, thanks for watching. Goodbye.